It's Rachel, me, Congressman, Commissioner, Freeholder, and you end us up, Don.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rachel Shea, and I am a former alumni of the Camden County College Medical Assistant Program and a soon-to-be student at the Our Lady of Lourdes School of Nursing, affiliated with Camden County College. It is an honor to be here today representing the student body and the workforce training and continuing education programs available here at the college. As a young high school student, I was so eager to enter the world of medicine and begin my college education. The opportunities and programs at Camden County College were unlike any other in regards to resources, financial aid, supportive staff, and much more. Upon graduating high school, I was ready to dive into my prerequisite courses for nursing, but it wasn't long before I learned of the medical assistant program here at the college from a friend at church. Upon meeting Kana and the staff at the workforce training and continuing education office and learning more about the program, I made the decision that this was a great entryway into medicine and the healthcare field, and decided to pursue it before returning to the college as a nursing student. Attending the medical assistant program taught me valuable information into medical terminology, anatomy and physiology, and clinical skills. This would later prepare me for success with similar topics as a nursing student. At the end of the program, I was given the opportunity to complete my externship with Cooper University Hospital in their multi-specialty department for 6 weeks. It was during this time that I made the connections that would land me my first job in healthcare, a position as a medical assistant at a medical assistant office at Cooper Surgical Specialties office in Voorhees. For the next few years, I worked full-time as a medical assistant for Cooper while resuming my prerequisite courses at Camden County College in the evening after work. During this time, I saw and learned more in surgery than I ever imagined I could as a 19-year-old. I consider the real-life experience and the connections I made during my time at Cooper invaluable, and although it was difficult working full-time and being a full-time student, it was made possible by the flexible online and evening courses offered here at CCC. I'm happy to share that this past spring, I was accepted into the Our Lady of Lourdes School of Nursing, where I will be attending as a senior in January. It was during this time that I accepted a patient care tech position in the ICU at the Virtual Hospital in Voorhees. I was hired during the height of the coronavirus outbreak and have been able to aid and assist the various professionals during this troubling time. It has been an absolute honor to work alongside such courageous employees who are working and persevering every day in order to keep our community safe and healthy. All of which would not have been possible if it were not for my opportunities in education here at Camden County College, leading me to where I am today. I am so grateful for all of the hardworking and dedicated employees throughout this college that have worked tirelessly in order to create opportunities like this for students throughout Camden County. It is an honor to be able to be here today to speak on behalf of the college and share my experience, and it is my pleasure to introduce Governor Phil Murphy.
Thank you, Rachel. Great job. Really great job. We're going to come back to her in a minute, but let's give it up one more time for Rachel Shea. That was really impressive, Rachel. Well done at so many levels. Our agreed upon protocols while we're speaking, we're going to take our masks off and put them back on. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us here on the campus of Camden County College, and I want to thank especially President Don Borden for welcoming us here today, and Don, for your efforts in making this college a center for workforce development. So to you, your trustees, your staff, your professors, and certainly your student and alumni, hats off to you. More on Donald Norcross in a minute, but I was just saying to Mary and your team, Don, we were here on February 29th with Nancy Pelosi and Cory Booker, and it feels like it was 10 years ago, endorsing you for your richly deserved re-election. It's really hard to fathom how the world has changed since then. And speaking of elections, I'm happy to say that we now, I just literally checked in, we have 2.014 million ballots already received by our county clerks. That's 51% of the entire vote from 2016. So it's pretty incredible. And that number's up from 1.75 million yesterday. So they're coming in by the droves. I'm not sure how it is, Freeholder, in Camden County. In Monmouth, where I live, it's overwhelmingly into the secure drop boxes. The same here, yeah. So let's hope that stays that way. I don't care who you're voting for, although I got a few biases here to my right with Donald. But voting and getting that vote out is the most important thing. Again, Rachel, thank you so much for your inspiration and for your kind introduction, and thank you for proving that the programs and opportunities offered here are providing the tools necessary to not just get a good job, but to start a great and rewarding career. And as we all work to protect every life from this pandemic, you and your peers across our medical community will continue to be on the front lines, and I commend you for your commitment to public health, and we all wish you nothing but the very best for your future. I'm honored to be standing or sitting, as the case may be, alongside and among several champions for New Jersey's working families. I want to start with the guy at the far end, Commissioner of Labor and Workforce Development, Rob Acero-Angelo. Over the past nearly 8 months, Rob and his team has been focused on ensuring that our working families, whose jobs and livelihoods, after all, have been directly impacted by the pandemic, receive every penny of the benefits they are eligible for and deserve. But Rob has been equally engaged in our work to ensure that a stronger, fairer, and more resilient New Jersey emerges on the other side of COVID-19. And that means more opportunities for job training for our workforce and a greater investment in preparing our residents for the jobs of tomorrow. The historic growth in our apprenticeship programs, for example, is largely, and I want to tip my hat to him, because of Rob's vision and hard work, and I'm grateful to have him on the team. She's no longer active duty, but I want to give Pat Egan-Jones a shout out, former Assemblywoman, most importantly, a dear friend and a great champion. Gloucester Township Mayor Dave Mayer is here, another great leader and great friend. Dave, thanks to you, my friend, and to your members of council. Bless you. To our members of law enforcement and first responders, let's give them a richly deserved shout out today. I'm also honored, if we come one in from Rob, we're also honored to have with us Camden County Freeholder, soon to be Camden County Commissioner, I might add, Jonathan Young Sr., whose support for union families through his leadership, not just as a freeholder, but within the Carpenters, for whom he's a council representative, and his long-standing work to promote and provide job training opportunities for residents, especially those from underserved communities, is without qualification. Jonathan, great to have you with us, my friend. Honored to have you with us. And then we have certainly last, but by the way, to you, Jonathan, to you and your freeholder, Lou Capelli, and the whole team, please give them our best and thanks as well for everything they do. And last but not least, the guy right to my right, we also have with us a great leader, Congressman Donald Norcross. He's not just a champion, and I see this every day, for South Jersey in the House of Representatives, but his work benefits every single working family across our state and frankly around our nation. As the only member of Congress who is also a member of a labor union, and by the way, he and Jonathan will have a Hatfield and McCoy shootout here between the electricians and the carpenters, but we'll do that off camera. He's also New Jersey's leading member on the House Education and Labor Committee, and he fights every day for the pro-worker, pro-labor policies that our nation needs right now to repair and grow our economy. Donald and I were just having a sidebar. There are lots of qualified people who have the PhDs and have studied labor law and labor practices for decades. There are very precious few who have lived it and are in public service, and he is one of them. Donald's been equally strong in his efforts to provide more federal support for our state and our working families. And let me say unequivocally, we're here making this announcement today because he brought the bacon home, period. So let's not varnish this in any other way. a state like New Jersey that has sent so much money to Washington over the years and has gotten not as much back as we deserve or need, Donald goes down there and doesn't leave until he gets what our state needs, and today's a good example of that. Right now, by the way, his portfolio includes his advocacy for a pandemic relief bill, which we desperately need, that will, among other things, reauthorize the vital $600 per week benefit for those who remain out of work. But as welcome, and I think we all agree with this, as that relief would be, nothing is as satisfying as a good job with good pay and good opportunities for a better future. And to be frank, that isn't good just for our workers, but for our entire workforce, our families, our entire state economy. So today, alongside the congressman and these other outstanding leaders, I'm proud to announce that our administration will invest $14 million of our federal coronavirus relief funds in workforce development programs that will get people back to work to sustain our recovery now, while at the same time preparing our workforce for the post-COVID economy tomorrow. These dollars build on our long-term commitment to investing in our state's workforce, and they also leverage, and Rob knows this, and I credit him for working with Donald on this, an additional $8.4 million in competitive federal funding that was awarded to us to assist dislocated workers. So back to the $14 million. It's in three buckets, so let me briefly tell you what they are. First, we'll use $4 million to hire dislocated and long-term unemployed workers into temporary jobs, which are directly tied to our fight against and recovery from this pandemic. And we can also announce that the first sector on which we will focus will be, to my friend from Lakewood, long-term care. Our long-term care facilities need skilled hands now, and through this investment we can find those hands and put them to work. So that's 4 of the 14. The second bucket, we will put up $3 million with a match from employers, importantly, to provide customized job training and skills development for positions left vacant because of pandemic-related layoffs or cuts in hours. Our community colleges, Don, and training providers are vital partners, as you know, in these efforts. Importantly, each participant will enter this program with a commitment of a job from an employer, and from our end, we will help subsidize the starting wage. We will specifically target our hard-hit retail and grocery, hospitality, restaurants, clearly, tourism, healthcare, transportation, and logistics sectors. These are jobs that are not only crucial today, but have growth potential well into the future, especially as we recover. Now is the time, we believe collectively, all of us, to double down on these growth sectors to create a more resilient economic future. So that's $4 million, $3 million. The third bucket is $7 million, which gets you to 14, and that's $7 million into expanding career support services, coordinated by the workforce investment boards throughout the state. These services run the gamut from resume review and writing to remote referrals for both direct job opportunities and short-term training. As a critical part of these, our one-stop career centers will reach out to those who have been receiving unemployment benefits, as well as other dislocated workers, to bring those we know who are out of work but who want to work back into the workforce. That's a big trend. Again, Donald and I have discussed this. Too many people are not just unemployed, but they're given up. And this is an effort to track them down and bring them back in. So I'm proud to announce collectively with these leaders these investments, because we know these are investments that will pay dividends far greater than the money we are putting in. These are investments that will lead to a paycheck that can support a family. They are investments in new skills that will carry workers further into their careers. And they are investments in dignity and security for working families. And that is the best investment we can make. So those who have been watching our administration over the past now almost 3 years know that we have put a premium on job training and skills development. We have had many other events to announce many other investments in building the workforce that we will need to create a stronger, fairer, and more resilient economy. The pandemic may have knocked us back, but it did not knock us down. And today we are reaching out to pull the working families who have been most impacted back up. And by the way, this is still with us, and I will just give you a couple of quick data points before I leave the stage. Today, another over 1,000 positive cases we're reporting. 18 fatalities today. Hospitalizations right now are at the highest in 3 months. In Camden County, 55 new cases today, over 11,000 since the beginning. And of those 18 fatalities, 2 of them are right here in this county. And it's a total now in Camden County of 567 precious lives lost. So this is not, I know you all know this is not abstract. It remains with us. It's surging over the past number of weeks. Collectively, I will say this, we will beat this pandemic. We will do that together, and together with great partners like Camden County College, our employers, and most importantly, our workers, we're going to get this economy rolling again. Again, I want to thank everybody for joining us today. Again, it is my honor to introduce a friend, a great champion for New Jersey, a guy who not just knows everything about labor, but has lived it his whole life, and a guy who is unrelenting when he goes to Washington to bring the bacon back for working families to New Jersey, Congressman Donald Norcross.
Thank you, Governor. Rachel, a real life story. I can't thank you enough for sharing that with us. The different pathways. So often you hear about, you come out of high school, you know you're going to go to a four-year college, and rarely does that happen. The reality is more your story than it is the one I just discussed. Governor Murphy, thank you. Thank you for remembering the dignity of a job and how important that is to individuals. To try to get people back to work is so important. We have the health side and all the issues that are complicated and long-term. But at the end of the day, so many people define themselves by what they do. A, that they can bring home a paycheck that takes care of their family, and you've never forgotten that, and we appreciate it. Rob, just great to see you here. Somebody who really knows the Department of Labor. You want to talk about getting hammered. The highest unemployment rate since he's been on this earth, and was able to pull that together with the additional enhancement from the feds of that $600, but expanded where that money could go to. So those self-employed were now included. Thank you for remembering those. To my dear friend, Jonathan Young out of the Carpenters, soon to be Commissioner Freeholder, has sat on the WIB board. So the very items that we're talking about today is something that he's lived with for decades. He understands what it's like to put somebody out to work because you do it each and every day. Even as a carpenter, we appreciate that. And certainly President Don Borden, who as a father understands what education with your children, but as a superintendent, as a teacher, understanding all those issues that come together to make a great education that is accessible, affordable, and high quality, as they do right here in Camden County College. And I wear this with pride because I came to school here in 1977, and that was the last time my hair was that long. And not sure what I wanted to do. And this is why it's so important to be on this campus today, that we talk about, as those young people come out of high school, the idea of going directly into a four-year college might be right for some people, and that's great. But as I said, I didn't know when I was 18 whether I wanted to go to college, build the college, defend the college. We need each and every one of those, and they don't always come in a linear line. You go to A, to B, to C. And this is why Camden County College and so many of our community colleges are important for workforce development. I ended up graduating with my mother from this great institution. My mother's a little bit older, but she re-entered the workforce after raising her 4 boys, and then worked and went to school at the same time. And that's what was so incredibly important, is that flexibility, that right across this campus, on-campus daycare, childcare, and how important that is. I was a single dad when I came here. That would have been great. But we're changing that. And last but not least, to Mayor, who does an incredible job public servant in any definition of the word. We appreciate what you do. So here we are, and I just want to expand on what the governor said for those essential workers. He talked about those in uniform, and I want to expand what that uniform is. It could be a scrub coat, it could be a lab coat, it could be a hard hat. Those retail clerks are literally working every day so we as a country can continue in the pandemic, literally putting their life on the line. And that is just so important. We owe them a debt of gratitude every morning when we wake up. But the one thing we want to talk about is workers need relief now. And this is why this CARES money is just so critically important. We are going to get through this together as one. We wish it was over, but wishing doesn't change it. People are working on a vaccine. We're trying to keep companies alive and moving in an incredibly difficult time. They're not asking for a handout, but a hand up so that they're ready. I talked about the dignity of the job and how much things have changed in literally the last 8 months. The needs for employers and employment have changed. If we asked this crowd, or any crowd, 10 months ago, what Zoom, Teams, Meet, WebEx, GoToMeeting, Meet, what that would mean would be a foreign language. Well, we now know those are the venues that we go on, or as they call the Brady Bunch or Hollywood Squares, that so many of us define what we do each day through those platforms. Well, we need people that know how to operate those. Thank God I can call somebody in my office and say, how do I make this work? But this is what they teach here. This is the retraining that we're talking about in the governor's message here today. We still need more. This CARES Act was passed in late March and has been distributed to the states, but it's running out. And the idea of negotiations, and I was on with the speaker last night, that our negotiations are continuing because we need that state, local, county aid that's going to come and help us. But make no mistake for those who start saying that there's defunding the police. Those who vote against this are voting to defund the police, the firemen, the teachers, because without that money, that's what we're facing. Literally a reduction and in some cases, elimination of some of those services that are so important. So when you see people that vote against the HEROES Act, we got a real problem with that from New Jersey. You know, they come to us time after time, particularly in those areas where hurricanes have wiped them out repeatedly. And what do? We do what's right for America, and we pay for that. But they need to do this for all of America, not just themselves. So we are in negotiations. This is going to happen so that we can create more opportunities. Because in New Jersey, we stick together. Our delegation had a call this morning. What's good for North Jersey is good for South Jersey. What's good for West Jersey is good for East Jersey. We are all one, and that's what makes us great. And that's why we will get through this together. And then, again, Governor, thank you for what you do. And remember, wash your hands, wear a mask, and make sure you stay 6 feet apart. God bless.
Thank you. One more time, let's hear it for Congressman Donald Norcross. I don't know where we'll be without you. So the order of speakers is going to be Commissioner Rob Angelo, County Commissioner, soon to be Jonathan, County Commissioner, Jonathan Young Sr., and then Don Borden, President of Camden County College. Now, why am I saying this? I was just informed by my colleagues that I was in close proximity to someone on Saturday who has just tested positive. I tested positive on Monday, unrelated to my being in proximity, because I had no idea until just 5 minutes ago, and it was negative on Monday. I will now, unfortunately, have to take myself off the field. I can't ask President Trump not to come to Bedminster and do a fundraiser and have me sit here. I have no symptoms. Again, I tested negative on Monday, but I got to go take myself at least off the field and get tested again today. As you all know, just because if I was with someone Saturday night and you got tested Sunday morning, that doesn't really tell you a lot. You got to wait and see to make sure there wasn't anything incubating. So I apologize. Don, thank you for hosting us. Donald, to you and everything you do. Jonathan, to you and your colleagues. Rob, Rachel, again. Dave, bless you and your colleagues. Pat, love you. Thanks, everybody. Take care.
There's a first every day in this job. Governor, I hope you're okay. Thanks for having me here today, for hosting us in the department. It's an honor to be with you. Commissioner Young, I just want to say that we didn't have a say as commissioners about what your new name was going to be, so there might be a lawsuit coming from you and my colleagues. But we're very happy Freeholder is gone. I can't express enough thanks and gratitude for Don Norcross's leadership, commitment to workers, quite frankly, mentorship throughout my career here in New Jersey, and everything the governor said, I say to the nth degree. And if there's any problems with the carpenters and the electricians, a former laborer can come in and help figure out what's going on. Like most of you, the work of our department has been laser focused on the unprecedented fallout from the ongoing pandemic, and we know there's a long road ahead. I especially want to thank Congressman Norcross and his office for being such a staunch partner in fighting for our workers and our economy since COVID-19 sidelined our businesses nearly 8 months ago. Our efforts in workforce development and worker protections have always been key to the success of New Jersey, and during this pandemic, the impact of those efforts have been shown to be even more crucial when people aren't working. Workers who have jobs with benefits, credentials, a career path, and workers who are properly classified as employees have fared the best during this pandemic when claiming unemployment and looking for work. We are in better shape for recovery as a state, thanks to the bold action from our governor, a proactive legislature, and a supportive congressional delegation, and partners like those here today, President Borden, and all the county colleges across the state. A few months ago, Oxfam International ranked New Jersey one of the top 2 states to work in when it comes to supporting workers during the COVID-19 crisis. And we will be at the top state to work in after a pandemic soon enough. That's why I'm especially thrilled by today's announcement. Our department will be distributing $22.5 million in grants to help businesses and workers recover from the COVID-19 pandemic. The largest tranche of funding, $14 million, comes from the Coronavirus Relief Fund as part of the CARES Act. These monies will fund our workforce training and reskilling program, the 3-pronged plan that the governor went over in detail, by the way, so I don't need to go over it again, to bolster workers' skills and get them back on the job. I want to give a shout out to my Assistant Commissioner for Workforce Development, Hugh Bailey, and his team for getting these programs up and running and ready to go and get this money out the door before the deadline, before the clock runs out on our availability to use those funds. These funds will also help employers create safe working environments in line with health guidelines for the displaced workers they are hiring or rehiring. We'll be providing career training and supportive services as well as incentives for employers to create targeted on-the-job training opportunities. Our one-stop career centers throughout the state will be reaching out to unemployed claimants and dislocated workers directly so we can target those most in need of services. No one in our state was left unscathed by this pandemic. We all know businesses are struggling or have closed. We all know workers who have been laid off or have had their hours drastically reduced as a result of the pandemic. We are grateful for the opportunity to use these funds to turn lives around and to help our state recover economically. While our teams still work every day, tirelessly I might add, and thank you, Donald, for the recognizing all the great work of our team, to prop up those who've been sidelined by COVID-19, we also feel the weight of bringing our businesses back to a safer, fairer, and more equal footing. I look forward to continuing our work with the governor, the congressmen, and all of our valuable partners in the legislature and around the state to safely restore the dignity that employment provides. Thank you. So I guess it's your turn. Oh, no. Freeholder? Congress? I'm sorry. Commissioner. Future county commissioner.
Good afternoon. Thank you. I will be brief since most have said everything about workforce development there is. But one thing I would like to commend Rob and his office. When Rob first got here back in New Jersey, I'll say, he hit the ground running. And Rob, you've put so many programs out that make sure that the people of New Jersey have a great opportunity to work, and I do thank you for your dedication to our residents here in the state of New Jersey. And Congressman, as usual, it's always great to be by your side. It's because of you, and it's your shoulders that I stand on that I am able to do what I can do today. And I certainly do appreciate your friendship and your advice that you always give me. And to our great president, Don Borden here at the college, another out-of-the-box thinker. I oversee the WIB for Camden County, and we have a really great partnership on some of the things that we do. And Rachel, I was around when we first started the program for medical assistants, and I'm so happy to see that that our fruit is coming to bear right now, and we do certainly appreciate it. If we have all of our individuals are coming out of that program like you, we have no worries in the medical field. I know we are definitely there. So This pandemic has really taken a toll on the state of New Jersey. It's taken a toll across the country as a whole. And I always found that it was three things, that basic needs that a government should be able to do inside of a pandemic. And that's make sure that people are fed, which we have done through insecurity, make sure people have a roof over their heads, what we've been trying to do with our rental assistance program to make sure, and the non-evictions that were put in place by the governor, but we've went through a rental assistance program to make sure nobody has fines and penalties after this pandemic is over. And then the third thing is to make sure people have money in their pocket or have a job to go to. The congressmen have always said the best solution to most of our problems is someone having a job. And these times here where the pandemic has taken a hold of our workforce and pretty much forced them out of the door, now is the time for them to be able to get retooled, retrained, and put back out in the workforce. And this money that the governor and the congressman has released will definitely help our residents here in Camden County. So I just want to say thank you to all the hard work and dedication that you've done for the residents of the state of New Jersey, and especially what we're going to be doing here in Camden County. So thank you very much.
Sure, you folks will be relieved to know I'm the final speaker. It's certainly always a pleasure to have the governor visit our campus, and I echo some other sentiments, hoping that he is okay. Just brings home the reality of this situation even more to all of us, I think. I certainly thank Congressman Norcross for his continued support, not just for us, but for all community colleges and for the state of New Jersey. You know, when you use the term partnership, that defines Camden County College, whether it be with members of the government that we work with, whether it be with business and industry, our sending districts, other colleges. That's who we are, that's what we do. Rob, I did want to mention to you, you wore the right mask. You are very much an Eagles country. Good decision, especially with the Giants game coming up tomorrow night. I didn't want to ask Governor Murphy where his sentiments were on that. I'll leave that be. Rachel, tremendous job representing us. I thank you so much for that. You know, you often hear people say you can't be all things to everybody. Community colleges truly are just that. At this unique and challenging time, the community college sector remains poised and ready to support the state's efforts to provide the training necessary to open pathways to economic opportunity that are both inclusive and sensitive to the needs of employers and employees. As has been a hallmark of our college's rich histories, we are the answer to many of the problems related to the economic well-being of our citizens and industries. We start at the high school level, offering dual credit opportunities to students while also providing dropout prevention programs and adult basic skills leading to their earning high school diplomas. The 18 community colleges in New Jersey offer degree programs that often lead to employment as well as transfer options to four-year institutions. As illustrated by this meeting today, we are the leaders in workforce training and are critical to maintaining and, in our current situation, rebuilding the state's economy. In addition, we do all of this at the most affordable price available for post-high school educational opportunities. As a direct result of the pandemic, we have experienced a shift in employment demands in occupations that include but are not limited to, some of them have been mentioned previously, healthcare, manufacturing, information technology, and transportation, logistics, distribution. In response to these demands, we've developed online instructional modalities in the areas of behavioral health aides and apprenticeships, pharmacy technician apprenticeships, certified medical assistant apprenticeships, computer numerical control with online apprenticeships, and industrial maintenance mechanics with an online apprenticeship program, to name just a very few. This is what we do. In addition, in collaboration with Cooper Hospital and Impact Charities, Camden County College will be providing the patient care technician program for Cooper employees this fall. I again thank the governor on behalf of all of my colleagues for the support of our students through the Community College Opportunity Grant and funding that will help us in the workforce program. His unwavering support allows us to help those who lack the fiscal resources required to pursue the educational training required to earn a living wage job. So many of the people that preceded me talked about, you want to solve people problem, get them work. Well, education is a key element to that work. I tell a lot of people, you don't necessarily have to go to college, but you have to do something. And certificates provided by community college and the idea of stackable credentials that Rachel is taking advantage of. Get a credential, a certificate as a certificated medical assistant, work, use that money to help you go back to college to earn an associate's degree, continue to work and use that money to get a BSN is a recipe for success for so many of the students we serve and so many of the citizens in the state of New Jersey. This commitment to providing inclusive educational opportunities will help all of our colleges achieve our missions and will help build a stronger workforce for the state of New Jersey. I agree with, again, my predecessors. We will get through this and we will get through it together. And Camden County College and our 17 sister institutions in the state of New Jersey will do our part to make that a reality. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this beautiful day on our campus. I don't know about you. It's nice to be around people. It's nice to be, outside. I don't want to get into global warming. October 21st, I feel like we should be on the beach. But it's really wonderful to have you here with us and celebrate this opportunity for the citizens that we all serve. Thank you so much. And I didn't want to forget, Bill Spearman is here somewhere, or was here, who's an assemblyman that used to be a member of our trustee board and hadn't been recognized by everybody. But I thank Assemblyman Spearman for his support as well. Thank you, everybody. And I believe that concludes our presentation for today. Thank you. Stay safe.